Good evening and welcome to round 6 of the Savage Ultimate Super League. I'm Dan Clinton. I'm joined by Bruce Lee in the commentary box here. We've got Knight playing Bluebells. Bottom of the table clash, but the potential to win Super League here. Bruce, who are you tipping to win?
Look, I'm going to go with Bluebells, just with their outrageous warm-up just then. They're working pretty hard. They want this, and that might be the difference in the end.
Okay. Bluebells are starting on offense, going downwind. We'll see what happens. Okay, and here's the pull. Chris Palazzi putting it up for Knight. Bluebells working downwind. Dennis to Ben Foley. Knight have stepped out in the standard zone to start with. Dennis, middle of the field, has a look, throws a fake. Knight have been using this 3-2-2 the last 2 weeks. It's an interesting kind of zone. Looking to really stop any deep threats over the top and sacrificing a bit through the middle there. We'll see how Bluebells work against it. So far they're not doing much. Ben Foley with the disc. He'll look to control. He's sitting on it though. Throws to Dennis. Dennis to Greg. Greg throws a fake, goes straight through the middle to Chino. Chino with the disc to Ben Foley. Now they're moving. Dennis. Dennis has the disc. Straight through the middle to Ben. Rob decks Sando in the backfield. In that, I don't know what you would call it, sleeve that he's got. Interesting. What are you seeing, Bruce?
Oh, look, I reckon they could probably afford to have more players around the disc in this zone with the wind, but let's see how it works out.
Of course, the way to beat a standard three-man, oh, here we go. A huck to Tim Davis, who gets it over Chris Palazzi. There's the first point. Thanks for coming. Bluebells 1, Knight nothing. Okay, Kev putting up the pull for Bluebells. They've scored downwind on the last point. We'll see how Knight's offense handles this breeze. It's a 10 to 20 k an hour wind. Johnny goes deep immediately. Rob Hall has a bit over the top of, or has an angle there on Steve, but doesn't take it. Johnny with the disc. James Hurley making a triangle cut to the back of the end zone. James Hurley brings it in, plenty of room. Brian Whalen gets beat for the score. Bruce.
Oh, it's pretty good. You would have noticed Johnny's little head nod there, directing James into the right area.
Yeah, the seasoned campaigner telling the rookie where to go. Okay, Johnny with the pull. Puts up a bit of a floaty one. Wind might take this. Settles down on the left-hand side of the field. Kev Robinson's going to pick it up. And Knight are back in this 3-2-2 zone, sorry. Dutch with the disc, has a look, sits on it. Ben Foley sitting right behind him. Dutchy just sits on it though, he hasn't moved it yet. Needs to start looking. Throws an interesting scuba, and that's dropped by Scotty. Terrible option.
It'd be good having Fatty in the middle.
So Sando picking up the disc, he's got the sleeve on. See if it helps him throw. Whoa, that was close to Rob's head. Richard Klein throwing that. Johnny Warren White with the disc. Sando juking around at the front of the stack. Sando gets it. Scary had a bid. Johnny gets it. And that was Greg who had a bid. They don't want it yet. Johnny with the disc. Pivots. Throws to Steve, who's just sitting in the end zone. Knight score up wind. 2-1. Bruce. No real hiccups there for Knight playing offense.
No, the wind died down a bit as well, took full advantage. Or even a close game.
Really good to play. JD.
Okay, here's the ball. Knight just got one upwind. Ben catches the disc, lefty backhand. To Kev, back to Ben, looks off it, throws a quick one. Dennis, Dutch. Dutch moves it straight away this time. Elects not to sit on it and throw a crappy scuba. Greg working through the middle of that zone. Back to Kev. Kev throws a big fake. Manning on the mark. Kevin throws a high release right the way across the field to Dennis. Dennis with the disc to Foley. Foley straight through the middle to Greg, who catches that one. Ben throws it. Oh no, misread. Kevin is being called out.
That was so quick to stats. I'd love to do it. Yeah, I wouldn't want to do that. He's just got like, I haven't seen I don't know how he can do it to the close. I'll let you get assists easy, and you let me get assists. Done. I want to just leave your player.
So Bruce, in or out?
Oh, look, I'm gonna say out from my terrible vantage point here.
Even after we saw Fatty bring that one in a couple of weeks back, you're still calling it out?
Yep. Want to be controversial.
All right, we'll have a look at the replay and see what happens. Bit of contact here.
2 assists. It's only been 3 points, hasn't it?
Greg taps it in. Ben Foley with the disc. Throws a high release. Oh, it's floating. Dennis misreads it, and it's out. Terrible throw there by Ben.
Okay, yeah. 2 or 3 cats. Just puck spill to you. He's having a heaps good game. And then I'm on to your tricks after, and I saw it, and he was on hardly anything.
So Richard Klein bringing it in. Ben Foley poaching off Sando a bit. Sando fakes a flick and then unloads it. Johnny, who's just kind of standing around at the back of the stack, catches that one as it drops into his lap. Chris Palazzi leading. Johnny throws a high release to Chris, who scores. Knight punch in another one. Bruce.
Maybe they're just tired from the warm-up. Let's see if it helps them out a bit later.
You gonna play in those shoes, Taz?
Okay, here's the pull after Bluebells timeout. Dutchie kicks it and stops it. Kev picking it up, immediately moves it to the sideline with Dennis. Dennis with the disc. Knight are back in this 3-2-2 zone. Dennis with the disc. Bluebells have struggled a bit to move it against this zone. They haven't been able to use their width and go around it. Here they are, but no turn. Ben Foley dropping that, or Greg throwing away, I can't tell. So Chris Palazzi picking it up to Sando. Sando throwing a blade to Johnny. 4-1, too easy. Bruce, that warm-up looks to have killed them, mate.
Look, it's all right. They're just going to get their 3rd win, and they'll be fine.
Okay, there's the pull. Oh, just out the back. Just out the back. Okay, Dennis with the disc, working against this 3-2-2 zone again. It's worked for them so far. I think more through Dogfight's inability to move the disc rather than defensive genius on Knight's part. Ben Foley with a lefty backhand. James Hurley holding the mark here very well, keeping them trapped. But they get out. Dennis, Foley, back to Dennis, who mooches onto it, throws a fake to Rob, looks off it, to Kev. Timmy makes a strong undercut and gets the disc with a lot of yards. Straight through the middle to Rob, to Dutch. They're on their way. Tim, in that corner that he loves so much. Are we going to see a high release backhand? No, we're going to see a hammer. Holy shit. To Dennis. Has his options covered, and Foley drops a sitter. He's coughed that one up really bad. Richard Klein picking it up, bring it in straight away. Manning on the far sideline, pivoting, looking away. Looking away is often interesting because you lose sight of the field. Not advised too much, but he gets away with it. Johnny with the disc now having a look. Manning makes a deep cut. Hurley mooching around in the deep space, needs to move under. Richard Klein swings to Harfield. Harfield with the disc. Hurley makes the deep cut again. Doesn't get it. Johnny, no. Dutch cuts off the angle, gets the block. Foley picking it up. Knight transitioning back into their zone again. And Tim Davis is 3 deep, but Rob's not going to throw that. Kev with the disc to Dutch. Dutch holds it and then throws it to Ben. James Hurley claims it. Looks like it did take a deflection. Richard Klein punting it into the back of the end zone. No dice.
Just a bit too far, even for
Okay, Dennis brings it back. Foley. He's not playing too well at the moment. Rob straight through the middle to Tim. To the wing to Kev. Kev with it. Holds it up and allows the zone to reset. You really needed to move that quickly there. Keep the zone moving around so they don't get a chance to set. There we go. He swings. That's good. Dennis in a lot of space. Has a lot of room to look, but no options. Foley up the line to Kev. Now they're getting it going. Of course, the biggest weakness, Bruce, on a three-person cup is going around the zone. We see Bluebells starting to do that. And Foley. Tim Davis.
He's gotten so much better since the start of the season. He's now starting to catch discs, and he's become slightly useful for us.
Tim Davis, that is. And I thought you were talking about Ben Foley, who's put on some form in recent weeks. It seems like he stopped thinking about the stats and started thinking about winning games, which is great to see. They score that upwinder. It's now 4-2. Okay, Dutch with the pull. Bluebells getting to play D downwind now. Knight having to work upwind. Sando to Klein. Sando, that was a wobbly backhand, dude. Straight through that zone. Bluebells are playing in a pommy. Oh, Brian Whalen lets that one get past. Really needs to shepherd it to the sideline and keep it over on one side. Harfield with the disc. Throws a fake. Oh, straight through, and Dutchie claims it. Gets a block on the wing.
I think that was a bit too tricky for his own teammate, that throw.
Foley with the disc. Putting it in the end zone. Chino.
Makes it hard, but he gets it in the end.
Oh, Chino. One day you'll get good, dude. One day. Catch it first time next time. So Dutchie with the pull, putting it up. So Bluebells have clawed their way back into this game now. It's now 4-3. They were down 4-1. Jesus with the disc. Back to Klein. And Bluebells are in a pommy at the moment. So we'll see how night goes. They sucked last time with Dutch getting a block. Sando breaks a mark to Jimmy. Jimmy to Klein. Straight up to line. The Manning. Great movement by Knight. Steve throws a fake to Klein. Blady, no. Oh, there it is. I called it. Blady forehand. Dutchie is being pulled well out of position here by Palazzi. Palazzi's clearly worrying him. Jimmy, Steve in the middle unmarked, and Steve with the disc throws a fake. Straight through the middle, and Johnny has misread it. Needed to get Ho there and bring in that score.
Yeah, could have made a better bid on that. Maybe he was just wrong-footed on his heels there.
Doesn't really weigh that much. It shouldn't have taken him that much to change direction. But anyway, Kev to Foley. Foley throws a fake to Dutch, looks off him. Knight back in their 3-2-2 zone. It's really good to see a different tactic out of the Super League team. Normally they just stick with the usual ones. Greg gets it over Steve. Steve knew he had something there. Dutch with the disc. Straight through to Scary. Great movement there by the young fellow. Bullets one to Chino. Chino with the disc. Holds onto it. Lets his offense catch up. Kev throws that big backhand fake that he's got. He's got a big forehand fake too. Greg, oh, Richie Klein had half a look at that one. Greg, Foley. Bluebells playing some really calm offense here. Dutchie coming back wide open and getting that disc. Scary in the middle of the field. In the middle, Sando, the experienced veteran, gets a block.
He just wasn't watching there, Scary, but I think a couple more games you might see those coming.
Oh, and Kevin has position and comes up with a good block. You saw there, Bruce, that he caught it. He didn't mack it.
That's all right. Good defenders catch their Ds.
So Foley with the disc. They've got to work it all the way back up the field. Isn't that right, Max? Good defenders catch their Ds. So Dutch to Foley to Greg. That ridiculous arm span that he's got. Foley throws a break to Scary, who's been playing in space well here. Chino puts up a hug to Dutch. That's a long way, though. It's incomplete. Okay, Sando bring it back to Klein in the middle of the field. Throws a swing straight away to Manning. Jesus working up the line. Manning with the disc, holding onto it. Throws to Jimmy in the end. Jimmy with the disc. Throws a hammer crossfield. Sando tracks it down. Steve unmarked through the middle but drops it. Foley picks it up. been quite a few turns in this point. We'll see if one of them can punch it in eventually. Kevin to Foley. Foley with the disc. Having a look, then puts it in the end zone. Oh, that's terrible. That was never really on, and Manning gets a block. 3 fantasy points for himself. Thanks for coming, Ben. Terrible option. So Manning brings it in, throws a fake, and then breaks the mark. Sando to Klein. Klein to Harfield, who's working a mile of space, as he always seems to be doing in that popper roll. Throws a swing to Manning. No, to Jesus. Manning gets it anyway. Chris with the disc. Steve calling for the disc and drawing a few players. Klein bullets one to Johnny. Johnny throws a high release. Steve not in. Throws it to Johnny. Knight score, downwind finally after several turns. Bruce?
Pretty long point. Let's hope he gets a bit cleaned up.
Okay, here we go. Andy Baddix is just sitting here having a rant about netball and me on the mark, apparently. It's funny as. Look out for it, intermediatemail.com. We'll be bringing you more rants from the intermediate male himself. Chino with the disc. Oh no, he's thrown it up in the air. Ben Foley tracks it down though. Hey, look, Nick Dukovac has made it. He normally works late on a Monday, so he's finally made it, which is good, and they've thrown him straight on the mark. Dennis to Ben Foley to Brian to Tim Davis, Craigie, Rob brings it in and scores. They jam it in the cram hole. Brucey, what do you think of that? They've held serve.
Rob looks pretty happy with that. I reckon he'll get into the game more. He's warmed up.
That warm up at the start didn't do it, Bruce.
That's not even what that was.
Okay, Dutchy with the pull. Bluebells continue to claw their way back into this game. Manning catches the pull. Bluebells shutting down that first option though. They've come out in their zone again. Manning throws a high floaty one over the top. Klein brings that one in. Good job there. Unleashes a Hawk. Greg tracking it down. James Hurley has misread it by a mile though. Inexperience. Didn't see where that was going.
Didn't account for the wind pushing it forwards there.
So Foley bring it in. Knight are back in their 3-2-2 zone again. I don't know what they're calling it, but it seems to be working for them, which is good. Greg. Sando. Oh, come on, Sando. You're wearing the sleeve. Got to get home for that. Foley catches it and puts up a flat one. Palazzi gets a block. Great wheels there by the hairy goat. Richard Klein bringing it back in. Breaks the mark immediately. To Sando. Throws that fake. To Klein. Klein throwing through the middle to Nick. Nick throws a floaty one. Manning misreads it but brings it down in bounds. Good work there and puts up a bloody one. Hurley has misread it again and he's fell over.
He could be playing for the Indian cricket team with this form.
Okay, Foley bringing it back in. Knight back in their zone. Bluebells still kind of struggling and Ben Foley has just turfed it. I don't know what happened, Bruce. I just missed it. So Sando picking it up. Bluebells trying to sort out their assignments and Manning almost gets Greg. And then, a bloody one. Manning brings it down with a soft layout. What's that, the meme? Lays out on his knees?
Yep.
Great comments, Bruce.
Sando with a low one. Tim steps over it. The sleeve keeps it low, I think. A bit of extra friction. Brian pops on up to Dutchy on the line. He's going to have to try and get it out there. Smashes it right across the field to Greg. Not many options happening so far. Let's see if this cut breaks down though. Dutchy does well to cut in front. Playing the angles pretty well today. Brian's got an open throw. Oh, that was pretty easy. Too easy. Just tore it apart.
Yeah, shredded it. Brian Whalen, great job there. Nice throw.
Puts a good one into this slight cross breeze. Palazzi picks it up. Oh, ambitious hammer to Richard Klein.
Oh, the hairy goat. Turf that one.
Kev picks it up. Looks for a quick option. A lot of fakes. Gets it to Foley. Oh, passes it too far back behind Greg, and he's not going to chase that one down.
Terrible, Foley. Come on, hit the target.
I think that warm-up's finally taken its toll. Here it is. Chris Manning. Palazzi. Ricky open there on the wing. James Leck open. Does well to draw the player out so Steve can get free. He likes that little backhand there. Could kill someone with it if anyone got in the way.
It's a zone killer, that lefty backhand.
Here we go. Nick should be fresh. Came in halfway through the game. There he is. The wind's picked up now though. He's going to have trouble getting it off the line. Nice tight mark there by Brian.
Great move there by Nick. You see Brian put the pressure on, but he stands strong and gets the disc off.
Steve just gets open again, and Greg doesn't have a bid on that one. Johnny standing in space, gets easy point.
Okay, Palazzi with the pull. Alex Britton-Jones has just walked in. Apparently he's back from Melbourne, having Taiwanese ladies work on his groin. Oh, that's tomorrow. Okay. Scary with the disc to Kev. Kev to Dutch. Looks like Knight in a man defense here for the first time of the night. Dutchy with the disc. He's been stuffed. Oh, and Dennis has dropped it, and he's turned it a long way up the field, quite close to his own end zone here.
He's pretty angry with himself, but gets on his D pretty quickly, so not too bad for Dennis.
Okay, there's the cut up the line. Oh, and he's cut off by Nick. Sando's been stuffed. Richard Klein in the corner. Hassled but there by Tim. Richard dumps to Sando. Sando sits on it. Palazzi making a sideways cut, gets shut down. Tim just clogging the lane here and putting the pressure on Richard Klein, making him work for it. Scary, good defense there on, and Johnny gets the open side score on Greg. What do you reckon, Bruce?
Just fooled him with a bit of a fake to the break side, and oldest trick in the book, got under.
Of course, that's the original sin. You can't get beat to the open side, but Greg does, and they get scored on. So we're back after half time. Knight have built up a strong lead. Richard Klein is going to play this one in. So right now, Knight are down 5-8. Harfield through the middle of the zone, as he's been doing all night. Puts up a hook. Greggy cuts off the angle. Steve never saw him. Greg gets the just moving straight through the middle. Foley, great flow. Brian to Kevin. Kevin throws that backhand fake. I believed it. Bruce, Bluebells, they've got another turn. Are they going to score here?
For sure. Surely Kev won't throw it away. This would be amazing.
You are joking, right? This is Kev we're talking about here. Brian Whalen with the disc. Uh-oh. The dump position's been clogged. Dutchy bails him out though. Tim has a look, fakes that backhand, dumps to Kev. Kev with the disc, throws the break. Pick called though before the score. Kevin clearly loved that throw, believed it was in. So the disc is in after that pick. Kev, Foley to Brian Whalen, who was clogging space but manages to get the disc anyway. Hurley playing well on Foley here. Uh-oh, dump positions clogged again. Foley. Looks like Kev and Foley are both trying to control the game, and they're just getting in each other's way. Kev with the disc. Throws a low one to Brian Whalen, who's in the space again. Really needs to get back to stack, open up the room for everyone else. There he is. Ben Foley's yelling at him. So Kev coming around for the dump. Dutchy on the end zone line. Oh, they've clogged the score. They've clogged the line but managed to score, I mean to say.
They played that whole point in about a 1 metre, I don't know, tram line with the sideline there.
You'd see the wind is worrying them on the swing, not being able to get any width to the offense and just having to cram it in the cram hole.
Dutchy eager to get the game underway. He's hand up for a while there. It's a nice one. No, it might be too deep though. Ricky takes it from the brick mark. Gets a swing across easily. Johnny up the line. He's going to try and swing it across and break this zone. There's only 3 in there. Should be easy to swing. They're not.
Looks like Bluebells have gone. They've taken a leaf out of Knight's book and they've gone to a 3-3-1 here.
Gets it to Steve. Haven't made much ground since the start though. Chino could have had a bid there. Just didn't realise it, I don't think, until it was too late.
He hasn't watched enough of our games, Bruce. Doesn't know how to lay out on that point.
That's what point's all about. Johnny with a bit of room on the wing there if he can get released. And so is James Hurley. Steve doesn't see him though and picks out Foley's hand.
Ben Foley with a great block.
He knows where Steve's going. Generally pretty low. Pretty hard. Kev, the old man from the sea. Gets it to Greg Schrader. Rips a fake. Gets it to Brian up the line. Not much movement actually, looking a bit tired. Let's go back to that warm-up probably. Foley. Greg not happy with the lack of service there, and Dutchy just wants to keep playing defense. I think he likes defense.
Dutchy hasn't been able to catch for the last 4 or 5 weeks, mate. He hasn't brought down shit. He's got hands of stone.
Maybe more like 4 or 5 years. Some would argue. Sando with the green arm sleeve. Not scary, stops a low one, but then gets it popped over his head. Johnny has a bit of a look. Ricky, he does well once he gets moving. He's going to have to spark up if he wants to bring the team back. Johnny on the wing there. He's released on the wing. Nick streaming down the other one. Not going to get it to him though. Kev does well to block that off.
See Knights starting to sort out what they're doing on offense here. They're getting, they were getting a bit of width going around the zone, but Dutchy gets a good block.
Just taking some really dangerous options through the middle of the cup. I don't know why, they've got a lot of open ones out wide. And the old man from the sea, Chris Pilati, desperate for the 3 fantasy points there. He's claiming he got a finger on it.
That was ugly.
Don't know if the old fella's got the energy to be wasting there, but let's see how it goes. Gets under it, but finds a disc. Ricky has no help there. Steve again. Oh, with Hurley open, but doesn't want him. Scary does well to block off the throw.
Dutchy should have got high there. Had a bit on that. He would have got a block.
Back to Steve. Always dangerous in the middle there when you get it in his hands. Back across there to Sando. They're stuck on that right-hand side, finding it tough to get across. Ricky looks open, gets to him eventually. You can see, I think it's Nick out in the back there, unmarked. They're not gonna try and hit him though. There's enough wind just to put off that hammer. And Ricky standing behind the crowd, Blady forehand, he loves it, and it's a point.
That Blady forehand of Richard Clines, it's on. Every time he gets near the end zone, he seems to put it up for a score. Okay, here comes the pull. Knight going downwind. Palazzi elects the roller. Kev stops it in the field though. Tim Davis, Dennis in the middle of the field. Stops, doesn't throw anything. He stalled the offense out now. Kev with the disc, looking, calls double team. Throws a fake, still holding the disc. Throws a dump to Dennis, who swings out there to Foley. Rob had a step on Steve, but Steve does well to stop it. Kev brings that one down, travels a bit as he throws. It was mentioned by Thomas Roden through the week how bad Kev travels, but nobody seems to call it, and Johnny gets a block. Sando bringing it in. Johnny working under. Dutchie gets a block though. Dutchie coming off. Palazzi there to get the D. Foley throws a... Oh, man. So, that was terribly thought through there by Ben Foley. Oh, Foley stops Sando's flick and makes him go backhand. Johnny's got it though. Rob miles away. James Hurley catches the score. 10-6. Knight are on a run. Bluebells in trouble.
Yeah, they didn't have the pace there to keep up with any of their runners. Or maybe they're out of position. Wasn't really watching, but either way, not great defense.
Sando had to go to the backhand, put it up into space and hoped for the best. It came down, Johnny reading that one and then punching in the score.
Here's Palazzi. Outside in. Greg hits the disc running. Straight away, just puts it long to Tim Davis. It's been quiet lately. He's back in the game now. Probably should get an assist here. Makes it way too easy there for Dutchie. What was that? Chris Palazzi.
Yeah, Dutchie, big body, just puts himself in front of Chris, presents a big target to Tim. That's too easy.
Dutchie waiting for a favourable wind maybe, takes his time on the line, puts up a nice big one into the front of the opposition end zone. Sando picks it up first go. To Jimmy, back to Sando. Does well to get open from Greg there. And then Chris Manning is back on. Gets good distance up the line to Nick. He's getting forced backwards there by Chino. Tight mark, bit of chin music. There's Chris Palazzi. Another tight mark by Dutchie there. Bluebells have turned it on a bit.
Sando getting completely shut down there by Greg, just juking around in the lane, doesn't make a proper cut, and Greg punishes him for it.
And I think, was that Rob that got the D? Anyway, Greg picks it up to Dennis. Dennis Shine. Scary. Looks like he's handling. Dennis still back there. Generally want Dennis on the other end of these passes. And that is a good reason why. And we got Johnny with the disc. Sando. The cup manages to get back round. Johnny helps out with the easy dump. Looking for an option there in the end zone. Gets Chris Manning under though. Back to Palazzi. Oh, just fumbles it. Dutchie shrugs his shoulder. Shrugs his shoulders. He's happy with it though.
He turned the game face on him. Check out the Facebook if you don't know what I'm talking about.
There we go, back to Dennis. Looks like he has taken up handling duties for this line. No one dumped back for him. Chino gets open for him though, which is good. See Dutchie floating off at the back of the stack there like he loves to do. He just wants a big cross-field huck. Oh, there it is. Didn't get much ground with it, but he gets it pretty easy.
Gee whiz, Bluebells are going nowhere fast here at the moment. They've got no real downfield generation, but here we go. Dennis Shine. Well done.
Who are you and what have you done with Dennis?
Here you go. Kev Robinson, the odd man from the sea, puts one up with the wind. Richie Klein's going to pick that up. Sando. A lot of facial hair lately for Sando. Must slow him down on the pitch. Nick falls over, still gets open, but looked off. Sando gets it back. Big flurry of activity suddenly. Everyone cuts at once. Johnny gets open. Rob, he's quick, but not quick enough that time. They're not really looking sideways. I've got about 5 handlers back. Looks like some sort of feld they were trying there. And, oh, could be called a strip. Nah, it's all right. Kev Robinson brings it back in. Just puts it straight up. Chino. Oh no, he's misread it. Steve with a great read there. It's the experience.
Chino got out-thought there. Steve, the crafty veteran, knows where that's going and gets to the spot.
Out-thought. Very good, very good. There it is to James Leck. Oh, and he just puts one up. 2-on-2 in the end zone. Oh, and who's that? Richard Klein. Just, that's time cap. Richard Klein just reads the disc and picks up the scraps.
Okay, Palazzi with the pull. Time cap just went, so finishes point, and then had 1. Ooh, Kev misread it. Ben Foley picks it up. They get out before Knight can get on. Really punishing that. They should have got down there and stopped that first throw. Kev with the disc points, looks away, then throws to Foley, lefty backhand. Dutchie in a mile of space. Oh, cutting away, should have went towards the disc there. Ben Foley, they're going around this zone now. Looks like Bluebells have finally sorted out how to play against this zone. Greg standing, lots of space, lots of options. Doesn't take any of them. Foley. Oh, and Jimmy gets a block. Ben Foley throwing a face ball and it gets D'd. Sando picks it up. Manning makes a circle cut. And Greg poaching all the time there. Manning made a crappy cut and he just got punished for it. His team getting D'd for his bad work. Kev with the disc. That's right, boys. I'm not pulling any punches. No, I'm not holding it back. Chump's got to learn how to play better. Ben Foley with the disc. Greg to Brian. Back in the middle to Scary, who's been having an all right game. Scary with the disc. Ben Foley swings to Kev. Kev has a look up the line, holds on to it. Still holding through the middle of the zone to Scary again. The young man doing well out there. He must have washed his hair before he came.
It is pretty springy. It is looking pretty luscious.
Oh, Greg Schrader throws that one at Brian's feet and it goes down, turn. Knight on offense. Richard Klein brings it in. Jimmy Leck makes the under, beating Kev to it. Jimmy with the disc. Throws a quick one all the way across the field to Palazzi. Palazzi being marked here by Dutch. Bit of a hump and a bump. Bits on hips, as they say. Throws a high release. Oh, Johnny tracks it down and then puts up a really flat hut. Chris Manning.
Had an opportunity there for the highlight reel, but decided not to take it this time.
He's at the good end too. Cameras down this end. That would have been a great shot. Doesn't take it. Kev bringing it in. Foley. Oh, Greg. Get up the line a bit, Greg, and gain some yards there. That's the way you beat this zone. Foley, lefty backhand. He's been using the lefty a bit. Oh, and Greg.
Go Bluebells!
His one weakness, I would have to say, is his backhand, and we saw it there, wobbly and fluttery. And oh, and Kev with a hand block, and Richard Klein doesn't know what to do, and he's bumped him over.
It's all right. It's a pretty good way to get back at your opponent.
Full frontal contact. Oh, and James Hurley has that one go straight through his fingertips. Scary with the disc. Greg Schrader throws another one. That's terrible. Greg, put some spin on it, dude. Flick your wrist or something. Foley. Greg looks off. Goes straight through the middle to Dutch. Dutch with the disc. Dutch pointing to Kev. Greg throws a hammer. Nice one. To Foley. Foley with the disc. Rob pulls out of his cut, and then gets it anyway. Rob with the disc, dumps to Foley, who dumps to Greg, who swings to Kev. Bluebells working away. They're throwing a lot of passes here, but not really doing anything. No doubt one of them will throw it away here soon, if they don't score. Ooh, I called it.
There's just no movement really past that after that first throw through the cup there. It's making it tough for them. They have to throw a lot of passes, but they're walking it up now, so they might just be able to walk it in for the score.
So Foley with the disc. Will he take ownership and bomb one in here, or no? He elects to keep working it. Kev to Greg. Greg has a look, bombs a hammer. Two people there, Rob and, oh no, scary. And Rob threw it away, straight up in the air. Terrible option.
Oh, just couldn't handle the pressure, just didn't want the disc.
Just throw it away. Throw it to somebody. Score, damn it. Manning throws it to Warren White, who's being worked on by the other captain, Ben Foley. Sando with the dip. David Sanderson still has it. He's getting a high stall. Johnny Dutchy poaches off Richard Klein again and gets another block. He's done that several times tonight. Doing well. No, it's not Greg. Ben. Foley picks it up. Bombs a hammer to Kev. Dutchy in a lot of space. Kev should move. Does. Doesn't get the disc. The cup is looking really tired, and Scary scores.
It's a lot of hard work for that point, but it works for him, I guess.
Dutchy with the pull. Do you think Bluebells have enough to overcome Knight?
Look, I just don't think so. I mean, that warm-up really took it out of him at the start of the game. Surely they don't have any legs left.
So Palazzi breaks to Harfield. Dennis marking him. Harfield puts up a huck that blades, and Sando can't get there. Sleeve and all doesn't help him get that one. So Foley picking it up. Kevin working under. And an undercut there by Tim, and Tim gets taken out there by Nick. No foul.
I wasn't in the end zone.
So Ben Foley has reset the defensive call, whatever that was. I think it was a straight up maybe. Sando with a disc, being forced to the backhand. Johnny Warren White gets it under on Greg. Throws that weird flick that he's got, and Dennis. Oh, there's a call. And Dennis doesn't like it.
Doesn't like anything. He doesn't like anything.
He doesn't like it when he drops it. He hates that. Johnny with the disc. So Ben Foley working on Sando. Does a good job. Ooh, almost shuts him down. Ben Foley gets picked. Sando puts up that weird backhand. And, oh, that's a good D. Who was that? Let me have a look at the replay. Tim Davis. Tim Davis. Kev brings it back in. Bluebells get another shot. Dutchy going deep. Oh, scary. Scary. You could have put that anywhere, dude. So long as it was in the end zone, you were going to score. Dennis with a disc. Dutchy comes under free. Foley going deep on Sando. Foley. Sando gets the block. Foley can't believe it. Sando making up a lot of ground there.
Oh, great pace there. Determination to get there into the game as well.
Vertical, Nick, vertical.
Sando gets the block. Ooh, throws a high release. Dennis doesn't get it. Should have got off his feet and made sure of that one. What a chump. Johnny, what a wild backhand that is, but it's very flat, very accurate. It's in the right place. Palazzi drops it, and Dutchy claims it. I think Palazzi dropped it, though. So Foley to Greg. Greg brings it in. Greg puts up a huck. Dennis is not looking, though. Tim Davis gets absolutely nailed by Harfield. See, I'd be calling a force-out foul here. He was contacted, and it affected whether he was in or not, and looks like game on. Dutchy with it. Dutchy to Dennis. Dennis with a disc. Scary. Oh, make a cut, Scary. Dutch with the disc. Scary just points. Got to cut, dude. Don't just point. Cut. Cut, damn it. Dutchy throws to space. Scary gets the score. Bluebells scored. Bruce.
Yeah, a bit of action there from Steve. That's why they call him the O-Barn.
Dutchy with the pull. Puts up a pretty good one. Sando catching it. Throws it to Klein. Nick Djukovac, sorry. Going deep straight away. Jimmy doesn't get it. Kev gets a block. Foley. His team has a chance to punch another one in here and then come back down. Oh, but he throws it away on the lefty backhand. Foley. Sando throwing a break backhand. It's floaty as all shit. And Tim Davis crushes that pack, and Johnny not happy at all.
Bit of the footy player in him there, just big punch out of defence.
Great bravery there by Tim Davis getting that block. Oh, Richard Klein poaching off. Gets a block. Johnny working. Oh, no blade though. Jimmy is free by a long way. Sando with the disc. Sando has a look, looks away, engages the dump. Richard Klein up the line, gets shut down though by Ben Foley, and oh, it's out on the open. The break side, and there's a call on the play.
That must have been pretty close to a stall.
I would say it's mighty close. Okay, contested stall, break. Steve Harfield catches it anyway. Ben Foley has nothing. And Knight win. They've got a long way to go, but they're in with a shot. Bluebells out of the race. They fought hard, they fought valiantly, but they had a terrible start to the league. They had a strong middle, and now they've lost here in the critical game. Thank you for joining us. The next game will be brought to you by Declan. Have fun and good night.